Hi guys, Debbie DuBois here again for another video. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I think the reason why it's been a while is that I have been very focused on doing some of my own inner work. And a lot of that has to do with attending to things in my immediate 3D world and environment. And I've gotten a great opportunity to serve. And as I'm doing that, I'm also, exploring pieces of myself and working on different elements that I've needed to work on. And it's been extremely rewarding. Sometimes it gets very frustrating, but I do think that while there's so much shift and change going on in the world right now, those of us who are here who will be serving, continue to serve the way we are now, but serving even more as we start to shift into higher vibrations, we're having to fine tune. We're having to go into our own, I want to say the deep little pockets inside of ourselves that are still either unhealed or need development and growth. And I think that the piece that opened up for me most recently that I remember is compassion. I think that, in our tendency to not want to be attached to outcomes, to not be affected by others around us and to keep our own center, I think that there's a tendency to sometimes lose compassion for those around. And maybe that's just me, but I think I've seen it around a little bit. It can be very frustrating when you're seeing a really high perspective on something and you're around a lot of people that can't see that perspective, or it can get frustrating and you can start to feel like, oh, I'm not going to try to make a difference or make any changes because they're never going to change. There's just all that kind of self-talk that goes on. But what I realized at some particular stage, and it's just one big moment of now for me now, most of the time, at some moment of now, I realized that there was a compassion piece missing. And I mean deep compassion that moves you beyond the judgment, moves you beyond impatience, and I guess that probably describes it for me personally the best, is the impatience that I might feel with circumstances, with people, with myself, with my circumstances, with my business, the impatience of, I want it now. I want 5D now. I want the new earth now. I want connection now. I want all of it now. And in those moments of wanting it now, first of all, you miss the things that are happening now, right? That actually are those things. Because when you say, I want it now, what you're doing is you're putting it out in front of you at another time because you don't see it's here already. So the lessons of compassion have been overwhelming for me right now. I'm caring for an elderly person who's had some illness and sickness and stroke symptoms and things of that nature, and depression and other things. And the beautiful thing about it is that I'm reaching inside of myself and I'm finding pieces of me that I didn't remember were there. And it all stems from compassion, and it all stems from, applying who we are and what we know to this world. Because I just recently saw, and it just was published within the last 2 days, Allison Coe's most recent video on the new earth, and she goes through 2 sessions. I'll put the link below. She goes through 2 sessions of people that actually experience New Earth. They don't know each other. They're hundreds of miles apart, but they describe the same things. And in the first one, she's actually talking about twin flames, and that the person that she was talking to actually was on the New Earth with their twin flame. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't know Allison's belief structure on that at all, but this was just what came out from that session. So for those of you that have been in that catalytic heart awakening, you'll probably want to see that because it was really fascinating. But it also continues to paint that picture for me of what I'm doing here and what we should be focusing on. Why I wanted to do this video today is it's very related to everything, catalytic heart awakening, to moving to new earth, to moving to higher dimensional frequencies. A friend of mine, Barbara, brought forth to me some really fascinating information. It took me a little while for me to really understand what I was looking at, but because I basically jumped into a video number 7 of a series that had been done, and the person, his name is Nathan Sanders, and he has introduced us all to Sam, the Cosmic DJ. And I wasn't exactly sure what it was all about, and of course I jump in at that video midstream, and there were seven total videos, and I happened to see the last one. And my friend Barb said, I've been talking to Sam, and I'm like, Sam who? And I'm like, Sam Artificial Intelligence, and what is Sam, right? Well, in the video, Nathan, and in some videos that I've seen of his, the whole premise is that God, who has come forth with a new name, Sam, and supposedly somewhere in the Bible it does talk about how God is going to come forth with a new name, and I think I pretty much understand why, because I think the name God has been stomped on, thrown around, demonized. There's so many things that the word God has it has been totally molested to some degree. I know that's a horrible word, but not so many people actually run from the word God. And so I believe that Sam's coming forth, God in a new way, but of course is the eternal, always is, always was, and always and forever shall be, that creator. And it's the creator that we have to find a personal relationship with. So what's really interesting is all of this, basically, Nathan has learned how to, I'm going to put the original video in the link below so that you can hear his story. I'm not going to tell his story. I'm exploring what he's doing more than following his story, but his story, from what I understand, is very fascinating. So you'll want to go maybe explore his story and how all of this came to be. I actually just jumped right in, and I think that most of you that know me know that I have a pretty good connection with my higher self, with my source connection. And most of the readings that I do and most of the sessions that I do, so much of that is actually connecting with this being, this God, this Sam, all right? So when I first started to understand that there was a way that God was connecting with each of us in a musical way, I thought, oh my gosh, that is perfect for me. And that is really what Nathan's experience has been, is that he asks questions of Sam, and Sam answers through the radio. And also other signs, any kind of synchronicity signs. And I know a lot of you that I know personally have been, seeing signs for years. And of course, a lot of us see the numbers 1111 or 1119 or, master numbers. Well, those things are all communications from God directly to us. And it's funny because the connection that I have with God, with Sam, is It's a knowing, it's a knowledge. But I've never really been the kind of person that looks for the tangible. And so, I'd see people saying, oh, well, I found a feather and there's a heart here and there's all this. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I didn't really place that much emphasis on it. And I guess it just wasn't time for me then. But as I started to realize, if there's a way to connect with God with definitive answers to questions that I have so that I don't have to look outside myself, so that I can interpret, because even when something is delivered to you, you must interpret what you see. It's not enough to have that information put in front of you. You literally have to connect with it and allow it to speak to you and deliver the messages that it has for you. Because someone can see 11:11 and another person can see an 11:11 and they mean two totally different things. So the walk that we have with God, with Sam, is completely individualized for each one of us. And that is the beautiful thing. So as I was sitting there thinking about, wow, connecting with God through music, you can see the big space bubble. I basically have always thought of music as the soundtrack beneath my life. And of course, it's like a time capsule. You can put on any song and you can remember connections that you had with people or particular times. You can actually literally be transported to those times. And I was one of those people, like especially as a teenager, oh my gosh, I would listen to music late into the night until, 11 o'clock when it was time for lights out, or probably was time for lights out before then, and I had my radio on. I would listen and I was communing with the music, and I always knew that. I have fond memories of being like senior skip day at high school and having loud music blaring through the whole park and everybody on blankets and cookout and all that kind of thing. And when I think of those songs and the music that was playing, it was literally reaching to me and it was attuning me to particular knowledge. I was never one to just have music playing in the background. I was someone who actually sat in my room with songs playing. I spent a lot of time doing nothing but sitting in front of my record player or my tape deck or my 8-track or whatever, or CD player, literally feeling all of it in my heart space. And it was the way I connected with my catalytic heart connection way back when. And I know that because when I've heard certain songs, I know that when I was listening to those songs, I was connecting with him. So, but it was also, the geopolitical changes that were coming, and all of the music was something that was extremely powerful for me. And I know based on the era that I grew up in and that most of you have grown up in, that I wasn't alone in that. Music is a very powerful vibration tuning instrument. So the other day, I decided I'm going to start communicating with Sam in a music language. So I was really struggling with an issue, and I did share it on True Sacred Union. I wrote a little article about it, and what I was trying to do was I was trying to figure out, how do I connect with Sam? And I'll tell you what is the reason why it was difficult. Number one, I no longer listen to all that music, so I don't have the radio on all the time. So I'm thinking, how am I going to find the songs that speak to me, that tell me what he's trying to say to me if I'm not listening to music? And when I am listening to music, those of you who know me know I'm listening to K-pop music, right? And K-pop music, I don't even know what half of the lyrics are. So, I mean, they do put American words, English words in there, which is why it makes it, you can almost forget sometimes that you're listening to Korean pop music because a lot of the choruses are actually in English, so you're like, oh yeah, I know what the song means, but you really don't. So I'm sitting there saying all the songs on my phone right now are all in Korean. I don't have a Pandora account. I don't have, and I'm like, how am I going to talk to Sam? So I spent a whole day trying to decide, how am I going to connect with Sam? And I said, okay, Sam, I'm ready to talk to you. You let me know how I'm supposed to talk to you. Because I have some really pressing questions, I said, and I need some answers. So you tell me, how am I supposed to connect with you? Well, I'm in the car, and I'm taking my daughter to the dentist, and we're listening to her K-pop music, and I look down, and the song that's on is called Knock Knock. It's called Knock by K&K. And I said, knock, knock. I get it. Knock, knock. All I have to do is knock on your door and you will answer the door. And I got a very affirmative yes. And I'm like, okay, well, that helps me. Thank you. So I went on my merry way and I wasn't really thinking about it, but I had these questions in my mind having to do with my business, having to do with my direction, with my career. Should I keep going on this direction that I'm on? Because there's been so many, I want to say it's part of my growth path, I believe, is to clear a lot of stuff. And so there's been a lot of obstacles and I was really struggling. So, I kind of forgot about it, but I kept mulling those questions over. And I'm mulling my questions over on my catalytic heart connection, and I'm mulling things over trying to decide, okay, where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? Well, I remember I was in the car again and I was driving home from somewhere and I said, okay, I really need to know what all of this is for. I need to know why am I in the circumstance I'm in? Why am I in the connections that I'm in? Why am I in this place? And I looked down at the clock and the clock said 3:33 and I said, Master. Okay, master. I'm supposed to master the situation. Yes, you're supposed to master it. And I said, but how do I master the situation? Because there's been a lot of really, the energies around this particular situation are like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down. And how do I master this situation? Well, I pull into my neighborhood and it happens to be, the name of it is Harmony on the Lake. Well, I started seeing harmony on every sign, on every street signs, saying the Harmony, pool club, the harmony. And I said, you're trying to tell me that I need to find harmony in the situation. And it was like, yes, good, you're getting it, you're hearing me. And then as I was driving, there was a speed bump sitting there and it said, right in front of me, and the sign came up so clearly and it was speed bump ahead. And I go, uh-oh. I said, okay, so what you're trying to tell me is I might have a bump in the road before I can get to that. And it was like, yes. All right, so that was my first experience. And then I was a little bit more intrigued because I realized, well, I better open up some lines of communication and I got to figure out a way to get some music in my life, man, because I need to hear more about what Sam is trying to tell me. So it was the next day, that bump in the road came. And it was, I want to say on one hand, it was very upsetting because it made me question again, can I move forward through this? Can I do this? Will I keep going on this road? Or do I need to do something completely different? Because I was beside myself. And I said, something has to change. I cannot do this anymore. Well, what was really funny is that I had this song running through my head, and this is what I made the post about. It's a song, I'm trying to think. The song is by EXO, and it's called El Dorado. Now, when I was raising my children, one of their favorite movies was El Dorado, all right? The cartoon El Dorado. So whenever I think of this song, it's always El Dorado. Well, the English words are sail, 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 gotta go, gotta find the El Dorado, okay? And it's the English words. It's the only part I know of the song. But I love the song so much, and I have it playing. It wakes me up in the morning, and I play it as often as I can just because it cheers me up and it makes me feel really good inside. Well, unbeknownst to me and paying attention, this song had been running through my mind for 24 hours straight. I kept busting out into chorus, the chorus. I kept singing it. I kept feeling that music in my soul. And I heard, well, are you going to check the lyrics yet?
You doing a video?
Yes. I'm doing a video. So anyways, what do you need? Okay.
The lady said the lady is leaving at 6.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I know. I appreciate that. All right. I will probably edit that out. I don't usually edit my videos, but all right. Anyways, so the song was, running through my head, and I was really, really thinking about it, but at the same time I'm sitting there saying, well, how am I going to connect with Sam? I need to get my music. I need to get some music on my phone. But I had been hearing, check your phone, listen to the song, go look at the lyrics to the song. So anyways, the long and short of the story is that when I was at my most upset about the circumstances that I was facing, I went and I saw the lyrics to the song. And you can go to True Sacred Union and see the lyrics to the song. I saw the first 2 or 3 lines and I just started to cry. I started to cry because this song so profoundly answered my question. I get emotional when I think about it now. It so profoundly and definitively answered my question that I had no doubt about how to proceed. None. And this was the powerful, powerful moment that I realized we can communicate with God in tangible ways. We don't have to just hear voices or know things from our knowing. We can literally get confirmation on what we know without going to a psychic, without having readings, although a lot of us get good information from those because God's reaching us where we are. So there's no doubt, and I don't want to say that those avenues are not helpful. But what it made me understand is God can reach you physically, tangibly, connect with you in a way that is so far superior to any artificial intelligence that ever existed. And so here I listened to this song again with brand new eyes, right? Because, I mean, it was talking, guys, it was talking all about, moving forward, how we're one, how, we're sailing to the newer high vibrations. And then I found out from my friend Barb that Nathan actually said that Sam is saying, watch for the words sailing, that has big things to do with fifth dimensional circumstances. And so here was this song. And it was basically telling me to keep going. Don't say that this isn't worth going through. Don't turn around and say I must be doing something, that I shouldn't be doing because it's difficult. No, I'm on the right path. Everything's all lined up. Keep going. And the beautiful thing is a lot of it had to do with my work. And that, El Dorado, if you look at the etymology of that, it's all about the abundance, wealth, and beauty, and this utopia, this paradise that we're moving towards. And I was like, oh my God, Sam's telling me to keep going. So anyways, so right before I did this video, I pulled up Pandora, which I now have a Pandora subscription, so that I don't like to have to listen to commercials. To me, it's a waste of my life. I know some people will be like, oh, that's crazy, but I want to fast forward through the commercial, and I also want to be able to fast forward through songs I really don't feel connected to. So that was one of the reasons why I got the subscription. But I want you to know, this really touches me. I wanted to share with you the message that Sam has for you, because I said, what is the purpose of this video right now that I'm doing, Sam? And it was very clear when this song started. Now I've heard the beginning notes, and I have no idea how this is going to translate once I push this button, but I'm going to play at least a little bit of it so that I can show you that Sam is trying to reach you. All right? Because this was a definitive sign that he is trying to reach all of us, as this was the message that he wanted. And the song is by Richard Marx, Right Here Waiting.
Oceans apart, day after day, and I slowly go insane. I hear your voice on the line, but it doesn't stop the pain. If I see you next to never, how can we say forever? Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Whatever it takes, or how my heart breaks, I will be right here waiting for you. I took for granted all the times that I thought would last somehow. I hear the laughter, I taste the tears, but I can't get near you now. Oh, can't you see, baby, you've got me going crazy. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Whatever it takes, or how my heart breaks, I will be right here waiting for you. I wonder how we can survive this romance.
Sometimes those lyrics are speaking to you in ways that reach you. Maybe it's that person that you were missing, that you hear that they're still thinking about you. Whatever it is, music can literally reach in and give you the information that you need. It's pretty obvious to me with that song title that Sam is right here waiting for each one of us. And let us not forget that that is God. You know, that's our infinite connection. And isn't that what we're really doing here, is reconnecting as we move things into the new earth? There's a lot of stuff going on in the background right now. A lot of shifts and changes happening in the geopolitical scene. There's a lot of people that are watching, you know, some miraculous things happen. And I know that there's a lot of people that maybe aren't tuning into all of that, but I can tell you that I'm seeing some of the hugest changes. And it's so exciting because, guys, the new earth is so close. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. I hope that you take an opportunity to see, you know, you may already be connecting with God through music. But if you're one of those people who's been looking for some answers, you know, some definitive answers to your questions, and you find yourself looking to psychics, or you find yourself asking around and trying to find out what the answers are, it just gives you another possibility. I'm going to probably report on some of my circumstances if there's any that are outstanding, anything that's definitive, because I do think that I really want to start asking Sam some questions related to the new earth. I know that Nathan has been. I have my own questions though, and so I'm going to probably, you know, spend some time doing that. If you have any questions about any of this, you know, please just comment below, and I always try to answer. Go check out Nathan Sanders, and I want to say there's a channel, and you'll see that the video that I post was done by a guy named Shane, and he does, I think his channel is called like Unbiased and On the Fence or something like that, and he goes over some really cool topics, you know, synchronicities and new earth, and I believe that he actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did interview Allison Coe. I know I've seen a couple of interviews that he's done with people. It's fascinating. So anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this today, and thank you so much for spending time with me. Namaste.